Trump is not playing around. And at a recent event, he called out Maine's Democrat Governor Janet Mills to her face, demanding to know if she'll comply with his executive order banning men from women's sports. And her response was a pathetic dodge. Take a listen.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
You could see the gears in her head grinding. Do I defy Trump and lose millions or make the woke mob mad at me? This is why people love Trump. He forces these politicians to answer. And let's be real, Mills is going to fold the second that federal check is on the line. Jasmine Crockett has no business in Congress. She struts around like she's got all the answers, but her latest stunt, wanting to tell Elon Musk to F off, proved that she's more about grandstanding than governing.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
Musk is out here trying to cut waste and fix a bloated system. And Crockett's respond? A crude tantrum. She's not interested in solutions. She just wants a spotlight. Congress needs serious people who can handle big ideas, not hotheads who think they know it all and act like it and act so ghetto and so vile and so disgusting. It's time for her to go. I shared on the show that Joy Reid's race-baiting, anti-American garbage finally got canceled, thank God, and she did not take it well. Take a listen.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And I say this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Listen, God has nothing to do with that mess. Good riddance. And I know you think your show had value, but most people don't think so. But now Don Lemon is all up in his feelings, hitting back at Megyn Kelly for calling out Joy. And you gotta take a listen to this one. Like, he is losing his marbles over this one.
So let me just say to Megyn Kelly, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person of color, go fuck yourself. Okay?
The big news tonight, will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC. Single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy. She was officially fired over the weekend because she's a racist, horrible news anchor with no ratings. And that's really been the truth for a long time. MSNBC's under new management, and I guess they decided to come to grips with reality. The truth is, this is very sad news for us, as she's provided so much material over the years. I feel the way I felt when Brian Stelter got fired, but he came back, and you never know. I'm sure Joy Reid will wind up doing something where we will continue to get to respond to her absolutely insane POV.
I usually don't like to talk about her because she's one of those people, she thrives on it. She has built the second part of her career on being a troll. So this is what Megyn Kelly said about Joy Reid, right? And remember, Joy Reid is a woman, Megyn Kelly is a woman. She's supposed to be all about women and, supports women. Okay, so this is what she said. Remember when Joy Reid laughingly mocked white women tears as pathetic and offensive to her? Who's crying now, Joy? Good riddance to the absolute worst person on television, and shame on NBC for letting it go on this long. And she has she is an axe to grind when it comes to MSNBC. And also, this whole, she's racist, right? It's just, I'm going to give you the evidence. Supposedly learned from it and then spent every day after apologizing for it and being fired for it, then spent every day proving the point that she is a racist. And not very supportive of women. If you look, all you have to do, the evidence is in her Google search and what she says about women, how she calls them out all the time. The worst person. No, Megyn Kelly. The worst person on television was fired from NBC in the Today Show a few years ago, and that's Megyn Kelly. That's the worst person who's not on television anymore, is you. That's the worst person who's not on television. So hoorah for that. NBC did something good with that. You know why? I like to give proof of things, evidence. Like when I said Donald Trump, the president of the United States, was racist, it wasn't my opinion. This isn't my opinion about Megyn Kelly. The evidence is there. I'm going to show you the evidence of Megyn Kelly, and that's just as I showed you the evidence of Donald Trump.
And finally, Rachel Maddow on her meltdown that her own employer, MSNBC, is racist because they kept her on and fired Joy Reid. You can't make this up. Take a listen.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two, count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
All I'm going to say to you, Rachel, is that you should be grateful that you still have a job. And who knows, maybe you'll be joining Joy very soon. And as for Don Lemon having a meltdown over what Megyn Kelly said, that she's a woman and she should be supporting women. Well, because we are all women doesn't mean that we should support women in their garbage and their filth and their vile propaganda that is spread on the mainstream media and brainwash the American people and the world with their lies. No, that doesn't mean that we should support another woman because she's a woman. It's ridiculous, and only a very soft man would say some BS like that. And that's all I'm going to say about that.